Good morning. The boss at my temp construction job has been sick the last few days, so I haven't been working the last few days, which is just why I've been making videos. It's the slow season for deliveries. Even though yesterday was a good day, yesterday was a great day. I had a $114 roadie order. It was 100 miles of driving, but like literally all highway driving. So I was like, heck yes. Took me 3 hours, made $114, spent probably about 15 on gas. So we'll say I netted $100, but then you got taxes and stuff. Anyways, taxes, speaking of which, great sort of segue introduction into the topic of today's video. And I'm not mincing words here. Socialists are evil. And then I think in parentheses, if I can do it, I'm going to write, and lazy. And it's almost redundant to say that because the fundamental roots of their evilness is connected to the fact that they are lazy. And let me expand upon what I mean when I say they're lazy. There are two foundational points that I want to discuss that are connected and that sort of paint the picture as to why I believe socialists are lazy. Number one, socialism is an essential step on the path to communism. Karl Marx himself said that socialism was a necessary step. We must first create the socialist utopia before we can then allow the state to slowly, the state being the mechanism that creates the socialist utopia, right? So these are his words, the state will wither away over time. Because once we have achieved a perfect, harmonious society, there won't be a need for the state, the system constructed, the massive system constructed to implement socialism, right? And so any logical person, critically thinking person who has read more than 2 history books will immediately recognize the fallacy there. No state in the history of the world that we know of, there's only like 12 to 16,000-ish years of history, and even then the beginning was, we're working on, what are those words? We're working with tablets and papyrus and crap like that, and it's all broken and damaged and translated. So even the early history we do have is questionable, especially when you also factor in this notion that history is written by the victors, and it is often written to sort of in their favor, you could say. So, and I don't want to get too much into that, but, even American history is, I would say, written in a way where they sort of try and downplay the evil, the atrocities that the state has committed because, hey, if they were more honest, people would be more open to the fact that the state is evil. So they have to downplay things, and they have to justify things, and they have to equivocate and engage in all of these mental gymnastics to justify the initiation of the use of force and to justify authoritarianism. And so most socialists, because they're lazy, don't even know about the connection between socialism and communism. They don't know that Karl Marx wanted this to progress in that way. Most socialists are just lazy people who think the tax need rich more, the rich need taxed more, and we need more social welfare programs to take care of the marginalized in our societies. And there's this term, I love this term, because most socialists are champagne socialists, meaning they are people who come from a privileged life. And this is connected again to that laziness element. They don't have to actually work hard. They are very, very lucky. And not all of them. There are some blue-collar socialists, especially in the past, I think. Earlier in American history, when the socialists actually pretended to care about the working class, you would see a lot more blue-collar guys supporting it. But in America 2025, which is the time we're in now as of recording this video, a majority of blue-collar men would be vehemently anti-socialist, anti-communist, anti-collectivist. Not all of them, but a majority. And we could point to the recent election of Donald Trump. I totally am not shocked by that, but the leftists who live in their little privileged bubble are very shocked about that, because they are just so lucky to not have to work for a living. And they might work, but when I say work, I mean like selling your body. That's work. Like blue collar men, because I do a little bit of it myself, so much respect for them. It is so much harder than my days at Boeing. Oh man, my days at Boeing were so fucking easy. I got paid 2 to 3 times as much for such an easier life. And so these champagne socialists who don't actually have to work for a living get to, from the comfort of their own home, just pontificate about how we should better construct society without actually themselves going out into the community to do work. Very few, let me pause. Okay, this applies to everyone, not just socialists, but our communities have so many needs, and I see such little effort from the average American. But that's a different sort of subject. Most people are just so tired and exhausted and drained and isolated mentally, physically, spiritually, that community activism, it seems so foreign and so difficult, because what even can you do when you're fighting the behemoth of this monstrous state? It's very much like a David and Goliath thing. But the people who claim, the socialists who claim to care about the working class and to care about, the underprivileged, don't even really do that much beyond virtue signaling to help. They don't do that much. Conservatives are generally more generous in terms of donating time, money, resources than socialists are, because they think that the taxes they pay should just take care of everything, and they're outsourcing their moral duty to participate within their community to the state, a wholly immoral institution. And they think that that's enough, that their participation in a system is contribution enough, while sitting at home, drinking their champagne, just I'm all hoity-toity. That's why people don't like academics and intellectuals, because they're often not people who work with their bodies. They're people who work outside of the real world in the realm of ideas, and they think that they know better. So they're lazy in that they're not academically informed enough to understand the roots of their philosophy and how it's just a stepping stone to communism. They're lazy in that they don't understand, they haven't done the research to understand that governments are just corrupt by nature. The entire institution is corrupt, and it is epistemologically true and historically true. And then they're lazy in that they don't even go out into their communities to enact the change that they think needs to happen. If you care so much about the problems, go out and do something. I don't volunteer as much as I want to, but I volunteer. I go out into the community. I care about homelessness, and I care about pets and pet welfare. And I am so blessed to have opportunities to get to volunteer in a capacity supporting those items together. The Humane Society I volunteer with does outreach events targeting the underserved, the underhoused, people who still have pets and who need pet care. And as someone who is stressed, when I had my dog and I had vet bills and I was struggling financially, it feels so good to be able to help these people. And I should be doing more, and I know I should be doing more. It's partially why I make these videos, because I just sit here and I'm like, God, I need to be doing more. But the problem is the obstacles are not just the state that is holding us back and exploiting us, but it's all the people who support the state. They are also the obstacles. And so these videos are an exercise in trying to address the level of obstacle I can, which is the intellectual level. Trying to point out how intellectually lazy socialists are. And then that laziness ultimately becomes evil, because the atrocities committed by the state, we can pick a decade and find atrocities. They're evil. It's just evil. And these people are supporting evil out of laziness. And that's why socialists are lazy. This video kind of went like this, but I still like it. Thank you very much. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, share, because we need to raise awareness. Please, thank you. Much love.